barakah in this hall. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring maghfirah, forgiveness to all of us. We are here, alhamdulillah, for a very important occasion. Very, very important occasion. And this occasion is receiving and celebrating Hanifa. Hanifa, right? Hanifa too. Alhamdulillah, my sister who follows me is also called Hanifa in Kenya, in Africa. Few things I want to say. A child is a blessing. A child is a rahmah from Allah. There are many people who are married and they die without having a child. Not that Allah, God the Almighty, hates them, no. No. But that is how it is. When you are deprived, for example, people who live and they die poor, it doesn't mean that Allah hates them. Allah gives you something and He deprives you of something. There are people who are born sick and they die sick. It doesn't mean that Allah hates them. There are people who are born wealthy or healthy and they die wealthy and healthy. But think about Allah blessing you with a child and another child and another child. We say mercy upon mercy upon mercy. There is a story of Nabi Zakaria, father of Yahya. Christians call him Zachariah, and John the Baptist. He got married to his wife until old age. They could not get a child. And Allah is relating this in Quran chapter 19. كافها يا عين صاد ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا. How Zakaria alayhi salam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala privately, secretly, passionately, emotionally to bless him with a child. When he had reached an age of anybody, for example, giving up. And that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with a child. And whose child was that? He said, فَهَبْ لِي مِنْ لَدُنْكَ وَلِيًّا يَرِثُنِي وَيَرِثُ مِنْ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ وَجَعَلْهُ رَبِّي رَضِيًّا. He asked Allah to bless him with a child. He said, I'm already old and my wife is barren. Right? Ya Allah, and I fear for my family and my community. Grant me a child. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, Ya Zakaria, inna nubashiruka bi ghulamin ismuhu Yahya, lam naj'al lahu min qablu samia. Oh Zakaria, your wife is barren and you are old. But who is the giver? Allah. So I am giving you a child through your old age. Even though your wife has been barren, I'm giving you a child. It means that the giver is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Big rahmah to have Hanifatu.
Yeah.
Hanifatu is a big rahmah. Another thing is a child's responsibility. When you celebrate that part of mercy, parents should know that raising children is a responsibility. Many times we say, this child, I'm going to work very hard to raise this child, and that this child has to obey me, right? But we are also saying that this child also has rights over you. There are rights, hukuk, that you have to fulfill. The first right is choosing her mother as a good wife. The second right is that when the child is conceived, you have to be there for the mother. You have to be there to take care of your wife. You have to. You don't, impregnate somebody and you abandon her. You have to be there to assist her. Number 3, when the child is born, you have to make sure that you assist your wife. After the child is born, you have to make sure that you provide food, accommodation, clothing, medication, right? Moral support, emotional support, all this, psychological support, financial support a husband has to be there for. And then number 3, not only that, also you have to make sure that this child and the mother are protected.
What happened?
A child has to be protected. Okay, a child has to be protected. And not only protection, also a child has to be guided. And this guidance also include what? Education, giving them, knowledge of knowing the God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do not just feed your child without connecting them to Allah. You have to teach your children to know who created them. You have to teach them to know that, what is their deen, their religion. You have to teach them to know that who is their messenger, right? A child deserves good advice, good upbringing. You have to create a good environment for the child, right? And so, once you have a child in Islam, you are not just raising your child, but you are raising a child who is going to lead the world. That is how we see children in Islam. So, what is this that you're going to feed this child of food? What is this that you're going to feed this child of knowledge? What is this that you're going to give this child of the environment? How are you preparing this child to survive in this world? And of all this, have you prepared this child to meet with Allah, his Lord, after death? So I want to conclude with the following. Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub, they were so concerned about their family after their death. When Yaqub alayhi salam, and Yaqub is Nabi, is the father of Nabi Yusuf, right? We're talking about the child. When Yaqub was in his deathbed, he gathered all his family. And Yaqub is the father of Yusuf, Joseph. He gathered his family and asked them one question. Ma ta'buduna min ba'di. I am dying now. Oh, my family and children. What are you going to worship after me? What is going to be your relationship with Allah? Are you going to worship Allah? Or are you going to worship shaitan? Ma ta'buduna min ba'di. But he raised them he nurtured them in deen, in Islam, to know Allah. They knew that Allah is their Lord. They knew that Islam is their deen. They knew that they had to follow Prophet. So they say, قَالُوا نَعْبُدُ إِلَهًا وَإِلَهَ آبَائِكَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. They say, we want to assure you that we will remain in the safe hand. We will worship your Lord, Allah, the Lord of your father, Ibrahim, and Ishaq and Ismail. Only one God. So it's very, very, very important as we are here in the land of opportunity, right? America, but don't forget that the biggest opportunity is not only America. Allah brought us here to pass by. The biggest dream is Jannah. Guide your child to paradise. Do you know what? Many people raise children, they receive children, they celebrate their children here, but on the day of Qiyamah, they will find that they will lose their families. You have your child here, you provided your child with everything, education, clothing, everything. But Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah says that no. You have to take different ways. So a biggest loser is a person who is going to lose his family on the day of death. There is no real life. Here, we're going to live for 60 years, 70 years, 80, 100, right? If you make it long, 130. I don't know who is as old as 200 years today on earth. I don't know. You want to be happy? You want to be happy? As a family, you have to fear Allah. As a family, you have to perform your salah. As a family, you have to guide one another to know the Creator, Allah. You have to. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reunite you together, and that is the real honeymoon. That is the real honeymoon. Because in this world, whether you like it or not, as we are celebrating, let me try to mention her name properly now, Hanifatu.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
As we celebrate her, but it remains that one day we're going to separate. Somebody's going to die. But Allah is promising that وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا and those who believes in Allah, وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتْهُمْ بِإِيمَانِ, and that you planted a seed in your family of faith, of iman, of knowing Allah, أَلْحَقْنَا بِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ. Allah said that He will reunite that family. It doesn't matter if it is 1,000 years apart, if it is 100, Allah is going to reunite with your family. Yani Allah is going to bring you closer to Mama on the day of Qiyamah. And Allah is going to bring you, reunite you with Papa. And Allah is going to bring the whole family together, walking to paradise. That is the greatest reunion. So please don't leave Hanifatu behind. It's your responsibility and it is mother's responsibility. So having given that advice, in Islam, when a child is born, we do certain things. One, we are calling adhan. We call adhan in the right ear. Some scholars say that you can call adhan and make iqamah. But what is established more is adhan. You want this child that the first thing he or she should hear, he or she, is the name of Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You do that until the end of adhan. Number two, we give a good name. In Islam, we don't call children demons. We don't call children bad luck. No, we don't call it. No, we give children good names. For Allah will call us by our good names on the day of judgment. So one of the rights of a child, make sure that you give a child a good name. Number three, on the seventh day, what we do is we slaughter, we sacrifice an animal, at least a goat or two goats. Okay? It can be a goat or two goats, a sheep or two goats. If you want to slaughter a camel and a cow, that is a charity. And this you are sacrificing something as a means of charity, but also protection for the child. Because when people receive this meat, or when people eat from that food, and they pray for the child, you do not know whose prayer is going to be accepted amongst us here. And what about if some neighbors, if poor people, some members of the family are pious and you do not know, and if they pray, that prayer will reach Yani Hanifatu. So that is very, very important that you give some charity, right? Okay. And another thing, if he's a male, definitely. If she was a male, we would have gone for, circumcision. In Islam, we do circumcision. And then there is also giving extra charity. It can be as minimum as $1 to any poor person. But this is when we are shaving because we are shaving the hair. If you cannot shave it immediately, it is part of Islam, guidance of Prophet Muhammad Sunnah, at least to shave. But we don't need to shave girls. Girls, you don't need to shave like all hair, no. It can just be, you can just clip it. You can just take a portion of it. We were taught that both boys and girls, we have to take the hair out. But in the correct view, Islamic view, is that you don't necessarily need to take, all the hair of a guy. Right. Praying for the child is very important. I will conclude with that. Sahaba, companions of the Prophet, whenever Allah blessed them with children, they brought these children to the Prophet for dua, for prayers. And this is what we're going to do now. They brought them for dua of blessings and protection. And the last thing is that as we have given Hanifatu the name, and we are going to call Adhan again, inshallah, if it was called, and we will make dua. Also, a mother or father can take something sweet, not honey, because doctors are saying honey is not very good with children at this age, right? But it can be just something sweet. It can be dates. You know dates? Mother can put it in her mouth and just take a, how do you call this? Who is going to help me with English? Just a bit. A little bit. Thank you. Just a little bit and put in her palate or just in her mouth as you are praying for her. Prophet Muhammad said that. I cannot tell you why today, but that is part of it. And so once that is done, There are many, many other things that we need to do. Don't let young children like this to be outside when sun sets. Prophet Muhammad said that shayateen, demons, are very aggressive during that time. After sunset, for example, once sun sets and you have to go somewhere, there's no problem. But make sure that you don't leave the door open. Make sure that you don't leave the door open, and make sure that you don't leave them outside. You know, a child is very healthy and okay, and then leaving them playing outside when sun sets, then somewhere after midnight, the child starts crying like a goat or a sheep, and you say, what is happening? You say, give them, how do you call it? These painkillers. It doesn't work. And then you say, it is because of your own carelessness. Please, father and mother, when you enter the house, you have the family say Bismillah. Mention the name of the Creator. And teach them that when they go to the bathrooms and all this, they mention the name of Allah and they make dua before they walk in. It's not a joke. We are human beings, we are living. They say we are almost 7 billion on earth. But what about demons and jinn and shayateen? What is their number? They are everywhere. And lastly, establish religion or religious environment in your home for your protection. This is what I would say. Mother, father, perform your salah. Pray, perform your salah, mother and father. Convince the family, remind them of salah. Salatul Fajr, pray. Dhuhr, wherever you are, pray. Do not convert your homes to be like cemetery or graveyards. A house in which Quran is not recited, a house in which Salah is not established is like a cemetery. And you start saying, I don't know what is happening between me and my wife. I don't know why my children are not respecting me. Because there is no Salah in that house. There is no remembrance of Allah, dhikr in that house. There is no reading Quran, even Qul Wallahu Ahad in that house. Teach these children that before they wake up, before they sleep, they read Qul Wallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu bin Nas, Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, Qul A'udhu bil Falaq. Teach them that. They know many things on this. Teach them this for their protection. Read Ayatul Kursi and wipe over them. Read Ayatul Kursi, wipe over your wife. Wallahi, wallahi. It is a permanent protection. Connect your family to Allah. Allah will help you, inshallah. So what I'm going to do now is two things. I want to call Adhan on her ears, and then we will make, inshallah, a general dua. If you allow me to do that.
Yes.
Jazakumullah khair for inviting me to come and make noise here.
No, it's okay. Jazakallah khair.
You forgot how to cut the cake? This is the right side, right? Where's Qibla? Where's Qibla?
This way. Like that.
Yes. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. اللهم رب هذه دعوة التامة صلاة القائم آل محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة وعبده مقاما محمودا الذي رضيت بالله ربا والإسلام دينا ومحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. طيب بسم الله. دعاء for هذا من ذاك الجنة الدعاء. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعيذها بكلمات الله التامة من الشيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. أعيذها بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعيذها بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعيذها بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. اللهم إني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. اللهم إني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. اللهم إني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. رب اجعلها من الصالحين. رب اجعلها من الصالحين. رب اجعلها من الصالحين. اللهم اجعلها من الصالحات من المسلمات من المؤمنات القانتات التائبات العابدات السائحات. اللهم اجعلها من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون احسنه. اللهم اجعلها المؤمنه. اللهم اجعلها المؤمنه. اللهم اجعلها المسلمه. اللهم اجعلها تقيه نقيه ظاهره يا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم اجعلها رحمة. اللهم اجعلها بركة. اللهم ربنا آتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Ya Allah, we ask you to make Hanifatu to be a means of rahmah in this house. Ya Allah, make her to be a means of barakah in this house. Ya Allah, make her to be a means of maghfirah in this house. Ya Allah, make her to be a means of making parents to connect with you, Ya Allah, more than before, Ya Allah. Make her to be a means of deen in this house. Make her to be a means of taqwa in this family, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make her to be a unifying factor in the community, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make her to be a leader in this community, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant her deen and iman and taqwa, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, do not make her to be a fitna in this family, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, do not make her to be a big test in this family, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, accept our dua. Ya Allah, protect her from shayateen. Ya Allah, protect her from jinn. Ya Allah, protect her from bad demons, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make her to be a Muslim and mu'mina. Ya Allah, make her to be such a person who will fear you in this dunya, who will learn your deen, Ya Allah, who will preach your deen, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, who will change and impact people's lives in this world, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make her to be pure, Ya Allah. Make her to be pure and clean, Ya Allah. Pure in heart, Ya Allah. Loving, Ya Allah. Kind, Ya Allah. Generous, Ya Allah. Trustworthy, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.